Last thing I want to talk about today before we get to voicemail, it hasn't been a good week for Donald Trump. If you've listened to the earlier parts of this show, you know that. Donald Trump continues to be sort of confusing and erratic with his flip-flops and changes of opinion. You might remember that after the first presidential debate a week ago, Donald Trump was asked whether he would accept the results of the November 8th presidential election if Hillary Clinton were to win, because, you know, that's how elections are decided. And Donald Trump at the time said to reporters, absolutely, I'm going to respect the results of the November 8th election. Seems that that has already changed. A couple of days ago, Donald Trump said to the New York Times, I actually might not accept the results if Hillary Clinton wins. He backtracked saying, quote, we're going to have to see, we're going to see what happens, we're going to have to see. What is he alluding to here? Well, earlier the same day, Friday, in Detroit, Michigan, at a rally, Donald Trump again started up, stoking fears about voter fraud and unsubstantiated complaints of a, quote, rigged election. He told supporters again that voter fraud is a big, big problem in this country. Remember, okay, I want to communicate this to our audience so that you will be equipped with the facts on it. This entire voter fraud farce of people showing up to vote twice, people showing up and voting in places where they're not even registered, etc. That is a farce used by Republicans to make it more difficult for people to vote in traditionally non-white and Democratic areas. Research has found that there are a few dozen incidents of in-person voter fraud in something like a dozen or 14 years that it has been reviewed. As usual, almost all of Trump's statements also carry with them some hypocrisy. In this case, you'll remember I told you weeks ago that Donald Trump's co-campaign manager, Steve Bannon, actually registered to vote at an empty house in Florida that he doesn't appear to live in at all. We reported extensively on that story when it broke, and you can check it out. Once again, an area where Donald Trump is the guy in a glass house throwing stones at everybody else. It is incredibly disturbing, and in the background, you might have noticed, I know that they've been quiet deliberately, amongst all of these outrageous comments from Donald Trump, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, they are very much under the radar, and they've both said, we're voting for Trump, we support the Republican nominee, but they've both had significant problems with individual things that they've both done. They are completely under the radar at this point, and it's abundantly clear what is going on with them. This is not a good candidate for the Republican Party. And again, Donald Trump setting up to explain away a loss on rigged elections and voter fraud that absolutely doesn't exist. He's worried. He is very, very worried, and we will have tomorrow for you. We have one new poll, post-debate polling, but I want to give time for a couple of new polls I understand will be coming out between tonight and tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll review the post-debate polling between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and see how that first debate affected things.